Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dylan and we're going to be doing a no makeup look today. You know, very daytime, going to the doctor's office, very that. Now, before we start, I just want to address my hands in this video. You might notice that they're very red because I know I'm going to be asked about it, so I may as well just explain is that I've got really bad eczema on my hands. And they're really flared up at the minute just because it's, coming into summertime here in the UK. And when it is the hotter weather, they do get flared up due to sweat and things. So it's something I can't help, and it's something that doesn't really bother me when I make videos. So I just thought I'd address it just before I get comments asking. So yeah, enjoy the look. So for this no makeup look, we're going to go in with the Milk Hydro Grip, the usual prep. The first few steps in this look are basically my go-to for any look that I do. Bit of primer, my eyebrows. I do use a different foundation technique, but I'll get to that. I'm just grabbing that NYX palette and filling in my brows. Nothing too crazy, nothing too, out there, just filling in the gaps. I don't really do my brows heavily because I do have full brows, so as I said, I just fill them in, make sure they're neat and tidy, and yeah. Then we're going to go in with the Got To Be Glued eyebrow gel, just making sure that they're stayed down all day and they can last and they don't budge. Then we're just going to carve out those brows with the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer. I'm doing the whole underneath of the brow, and then you'll notice that instead of doing the whole top of the eyebrow, I'm just doing the outer tail, just to define that tail a bit. We want it to look a bit more natural than, a full coverage beat. So yeah, we're going to blend that out and feel our oats and live life. Then I'm just going to go over with the Morphe Continuous Set and Prep Mist. It's the gold one. I really like this one. I highly recommend it. I'm almost out. I need more. But I'm just going to go over that and spray my face. So now we're going to go in with foundation. I'm using the Il Makiage Woke Up Like This foundation. And as you can see, I'm using a brush. When you use a brush when applying your foundation, you do get that more natural airbrush sort of skin look, so that's why I'm using it for today's look. If you wanted a little bit more coverage, a little bit more full beat, then you would use a beauty blender. But I'm just going over my face, making sure that I've got all the fine lines and I'm blending seamlessly. Now I'm going in with that e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer, and as you can see, I'm going in with a warmer tone. This will cancel out any dark circles, any blue tones under your eyes, and any other bluish, darkish tones that you see in your face. You want to use a warmer concealer, a bit warmer and darker than you would usually go. And then we're going to go in with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop in the shade Alabaster, I believe. This is a lighter shade, and we're just going to brighten up our under eyes, just a little bit in the inner corner and a little bit on the outside just to give a lifting look. Not too much here. This is a really high coverage concealer, so don't use too much. We're going to do the nose, the forehead and a little bit of the chin just to brighten up the face and make it look more alive. Then we're going to go in with the H&B Soft Focus Loose Powder. Now, I actually learned this technique from TikTok, and what it is you take your powder on your powder puff and sort of work it into your hands a little bit and then set your under eyes instead of just going straight in with your powder. It creates this less cakey look and it makes it more smooth, and after that we're going to go in and fully bake the eyes, and we're also setting the face as well with the same powder. Now for eyeshadow, we're just going in with a sort of warm, neutral brown shade, and we're literally just brushing that through the crease, blending it as good as we can. I'm sort of starting on the outer corner, blending through the crease, blending it up to the top. I like to blend my shadow just at the top front of the brow. It gives you that more forward look, I guess, makes you look more awake, more, I don't know, it just does something to the face. So we're just going to blend. I'm also using just a little bit lighter shade at the top just to blend that further, make it look more seamless, look more stun. And then we're picking up just a highlighted matte shade and we're going to put that just underneath the brow bone and highlight that area, and then after we're going to go in with a shimmer shade and just further highlight and make sure the light catches it in the right places. And not picking up too much, we're just going to go on the lower lash line with that shadow, and as you can see, I've left the bake on, so I'm going to do this before we brush off the bake. I feel like it just blends the shadow in better, it makes it look more smooth. That's a little technique and tip that you can use as well. And then we're going to go in with our Kat Von D Shading Light, my favourite contour palette. Again, normal contour routine, going into the cheeks with a lightish hand. As you can see, I do sort of slightly circular motions, blending it up to the forehead. You know, usual contour routine. Yeah. Then we're going to go in with that bronzery shade and just give our face a little bit more of a sun-kissed look. Makes you look more healthy, more radiant. Then we're going to go back in with that loose powder and cut our cheeks, make it look snatched, make our face look snatched, make us look more skinny. This is honestly my favourite part of my makeup routine, is cutting the cheeks. I don't know what it is, I just love it. I love it. And while that's baking, we're going to go in with the Wet n Wild Pinch Me Pink blush. This is an exact dupe for the NARS Orgasm, if that's one that you enjoy. We're just going to do that on the high points of the cheek, bringing it into the apples. Guys, I love blush. I can literally drown myself in blush. Love it so much. Blush is so underrated these days. And then with that contoury shade, I'm going to just put that all over my nose, everywhere on the nose, and then we're going to carve it out and contour our nose that way. I learned this technique from Nikki Tutorials, who I think learned it from James Charles. Yeah, I love this technique, and it just makes your nose look snatched and petite and all that I've ever dreamed of. Now we're just brushing that bake off under our cheeks. We're going to leave the one on our nose just to bake a little bit further, just to let it set in a little bit. And then we're going to highlight the high points of our cheek using any highlighter. I'm using the Glam, I forgot what the name is, but it's a Glam one. It's the one I used in my last video. Love this highlighter. Yeah, we're going to highlight the high points of the cheek and feel our oats. Brushing that bake off the nose, we're going to just further highlight the rest of the face. I'm going to do the tip of the nose and the bridge of the nose and the top of the cupid's bow, and just a little bit above the brows. I like to highlight there also. Then going in with an eyelash curler, we're going to curl our lashes, make them look popping. We're actually just going to go in with a clear mascara and coat those lashes. And I didn't film it, but what I did after this is I went in with a lash separator just to make sure it looks even and brush through it. It gives you that sort of wet look in your eyelashes, that natural look, and I feel we don't really need mascara here. And a little trick I like to do is go in with the blush we use and just slightly brush that over our lips. It sort of gives you that Korean style lip, sort of the faded red in the middle, and we're going to go over that with a gloss. And just to melt all those powders together, we're going to go back in with that Morphe setting spray. Let that dry completely, and then we're going to go over with the One Size Until Dawn setting spray. It's a mattifying setting spray. This will keep your makeup on all day. And that is it for the no makeup look, you guys. We're looking stunned, we're looking snatched, and we're ready to, you know, conquer the world. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, comment and like, and turn that bell on for the notifications so you don't miss another upload. Yeah, until next time, you guys. See you later.